Okay, I prepared a small clip for you where, sorry, me again talking, only my voice and nothing else. And I added some B-roll and without sound of music and just my voice, it looks like this. Might be the start of something beautiful for you. And a little later it will return back to me. I know it was for Yolanda and me. I just cut my clip up, dragged it to the side so to create some room for the B-roll that I want to show there. And I'll start talking again when the B-roll ends. But of course, I want to have music in that video. Let's drag this one down to an audio track. It's a little bit longer than I need it, so I'll put the playhead here and just trim the end to the playhead. Let's deal with that, the ending later. I'll just play it for you. Anyway, it's great to see you. Yes, 2 seconds were enough. This is way too loud to hear me talking, so we're gonna have to do something about the volume. The first way that you can do that is double click the audio track and it will open the audio panel, and it looks exactly the same, like I'll click on a video clip now as the panel, because but the difference is that you have here in the video audio and video and color and motion, and if I double click on the audio track I only have audio. And yeah, okay, that sounds logic, right? I'm using the volume slider here to drag the volume down, and if I do that, you will see in the timeline that the waveform that you see there will also go down. So let's say that I want to make it -20 here or something. It gradually goes down by half a dB or something. So let's put it on 2021. And you hardly see the waveform now here, but it's not really important. But to be sure, I will adjust the track height to big. I also already explained earlier to you how that works. So I can see at least a little bit visual what I'm doing here. I'll play the clip again. Anyway, it's great to see you here. Maybe this just might... I think this is just the right volume that we need. But if I let the video run, then the B-roll will come in. Start of something beautiful for you. And when I stop talking, I want the music, the volume to increase. And when I am done talking, before I'm done, when I start talking again, like here where I have my mouse now, I want to have the music. I know it was down back again to the volume where it is now. So I need a way to point out those locations in sound, and then if I have done that, then I can play around with the volume. So the first thing that I'm gonna do is drag the playhead back to the place where I stopped talking, and that is this point. And I want to hear myself saying my last words, so I'm gonna drag the playhead a little bit to the side. And what I can do there, if I double click on the audio track, I can click this little dot here right in the middle below the volume slider, add volume keyframes. And a keyframe is a sort of marker that is put on your volume line here. And I'm going to do exactly the same at the place where I start talking again. Just before that, the volume has to be back at the volume that it was before. So also there I'm going to put a keyframe on my timeline. I have to aim with the mouse. Yes, there it is. And what I can do is that I want to increase the volume when the B-roll plays. So where does the volume has to be at its maximum? That's about here. And that's the place where I'm gonna put another keyframe. So I'll click the button here. There's the next one. And I have to put another one here to let Filmora know from what point the sound has to go, the volume has to go down again to this point. So at this position I can put another keyframe. Okay, now everything is still as it was before, but what I can do now is, if my hand drags, I hover over that point and you see the mouse button change. This is the hand, I'm going to show you that in a minute, but that finger is the one. Why does it change in a finger? Yeah, there it is. Now I can click that and drag it up a little. Let's say to, not totally the normal volume, but like this, 5.59. And I'm going to do the same at this one. I'm going to hover over it and I'm going to drag it up to the same value. So what you see happening now is it's not a fade in, that's more at the beginning of a track, but you see the volume increase and stay during the B-roll. The B-roll is just up there outside of my timeline window here because I made everything big. And you see the decrease of the volume there. So if I play that now, it might be the start of something beautiful for you. I know it was for Yolanda and me. That's how it goes. And if the sound in the middle is still a little bit too loud, then because these two are connected, I can use the middle one to adjust the volume between those dots. So if I hover my mouse over here, I can just click it now and then I can adjust both the points at one time. I can also decrease everything, but I can now play with the volume that I want to use in between those dots, so what's used during the B-roll, and make it more impactful. The B-roll is more impactful when the music volume goes up a little bit. And this is how you do it. One last thing about this situation, when I drag the MP3 down in the timeline, I trimmed the end. So if I come to the end of the video like this, change and not only the video stops, but also the music is not, it's not the end of the song. So in the audio track, if I double click it again, and like I said before, the same option is available for video, audio part of the video, I can use a fade out. And what a fade out does is in fact the same as what we did with the dots. It slowly reduces the volume. So if I want to fade out, let's say 3 seconds, something like that, I can just drag the slider to 3 seconds, or I can type 3 seconds. And what you see here is that the end, there's a dot there, and this dot represents the fade out that I just made. And if I play it now, what impact it would have on our life in a good way. We've changed and improved. Now the music is not cut off right away, but it is gradually, the volume gradually decreases. The fade out slider here is one way to do it. I'll reset that to 0. And if I go back to the timeline again, that dot is still there. You see the diagonal there is gone. But that fade out can also be done by hovering over with your mouse, and in this case the cursor changes in those little arrows on the side. If I now click my left mouse button and hold it, I can drag this thing to the side and I will manually put a fade out in the audio track. So same effect as just before. As I play it from here, we had no clue what impact it would have on our life in a good way. We've changed and improved. This is how you do a fade out. And of course you can do the same thing at the beginning of an audio track, but because we are dealing with a song, an MP3 music part here, the beginning of the song doesn't really need a fade in. Where you can use fade in to reduce clicks, the clip that you see here, I split that myself, and what you often hear in videos that are clipped is that the sound has a little tick. And I can very easily prevent that, because you see here there's a sort of empty, there's no sound in there. I start talking here and it's a fraction of a second, but it's just enough to drag this slider a little bit to the side so that the volume is up when I start talking, but it is at the lowest at the beginning of the track. So if there's a click in there, you will not hear it. I know it was for Yolanda, and you don't hear a difference because the volume is back on top when I start talking again. So the fade out and the fade in can also be, and the same goes for the end of this clip, by the way. I do the same thing with my mouse button here. I select the video track, hover with my mouse over the white button. If my mouse does what it should do, well, it does. But in the blue part, that the diagonal is not very good, not very visible. So, but I'll drag it just after the spot where I stop talking, and what you will hear there is something beautiful for you. So, the same as here, if there was a click on the end of that track, that click is eliminated now. That was fade in and fade out, and you can use it in your own creative way to end the song or to prevent unwanted sounds in videos that you have clipped, split, trimmed, or whatever you did with it.